We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard, and I wonder where you are.
After several years of decent Need for Speed games, has Ghost Games finally released a Need for Speed game that's actually worth talking about? Guess what? It is! Need for Speed Heat is the amalgamation of all previous entries by Ghost Games. We got the intense police chases from Rivals, the atmosphere and visuals from 2015, well almost, and the lessons learned from Payback's disappointing performance tuning. We get a game that hits almost all the right marks. So let's first talk about the car customization. The car customization seen in 2015 and Payback returns in Heat, but with a few differences. The big one is that the speed cards are gone, and you can simply buy upgrades just like the old games. The performance parts are tied to player level, so to get the good stuff you're going to need to level yourself up by going to races at night to gain rep. More on the day and night mechanics later. Heat also adds engine swaps to further increase the maximum potential of the car's performance. The engine swaps can be quite expensive though, with some purchases requiring you to have at least 250,000 bank. The swaps themselves increase the car horsepower and also change the sound of the car. Visual customizations like front bumper and fenders are not tied to any customizations like we saw in Payback, where you had to do 8-second drifting to unlock the access to customizing your hood. All you need is money to be able to purchase parts in this game. However, vanity parts like neon, tire smoke, and nitrous color have a different story. Initially, the only colors you have are the red, green, and blue colors. To unlock more of the colors, you need to do one of two things. Collect collectibles, which are the neon pink flamingos, billboards, collect sprays, and do activities like jumps, speed traps, and drift zones in each specific area to unlock vanity parts from that area. Or you can participate in the black market stuff, which has the player doing tasks that progress the black market level tied to certain cars, which also unlock parts to that car and unique vanity parts that you can also use on other cars. The paint system also gets an overhaul by adding finish to the paints. It basically adds different material properties like carbon, Damascus, and chameleon flake finishes, which allow the player to create more unique looks towards their ride. Need for Speed Heat also adds a new customization, exhaust sound tuning. This customization allows the player to tweak the sound of the exhaust notes of the cars, and for me this is one of the most satisfying parts of the game. Listening to the exhaust notes, changing the tones, timbre, and overrun, and resonance to that right sound, it's just so good. I swear more games should have this, honestly. Moving on to progression. Need for Speed Heat is split into two modes, well times actually. There is the day mode and there is the night mode. The day mode is set in the day, duh. During the day, the player does showdown races, which are sanctioned race events. Day mode is used as the optimal way for gathering bank, this game's currency. The day mode also has its own soundtrack, which is mostly Spanish rap, house, and R&B. It's a very casual and chill soundtrack. Visually, day mode looks boring and bland. Don't get me wrong, the day does look really good, but it's not visually interesting to look at. But once you move into night mode, it's a whole different story. It feels like the city springs to life. The city gets lit by neon light. The changes in lighting also make the reflections look significantly better. The soundtrack changes to trap and rap, and the atmosphere feels like you're just playing Need for Speed Underground again. During night mode, you do races for reputation. Rep is how the player progresses in the game. Higher your rep level, the more parts you have access to. During each session of night, when you gain rep, you have to bank it by going to the garage to save it. This is just like Rivals. Each race awards a certain amount of rep, but also increases the heat level. The heat level works in two ways. It acts as a point multiplier and increases police presence and difficulty, with higher levels bringing in faster and tougher police. And it being night mode, police presence was already significantly increased. This game's police chases are not restricted to events like Payback. The police in this game will chase you in the open world. The chases in this game are intense. This is due to the police being significantly tougher. They will bully you. And now there is a health bar added to the player's car. That means you can't even fight back as hard, because if you crash out, you lose your multiplier, and you lose a significant amount of rep. However, you can repair your car by going to gas stations. That instantly repair your car to max health, but it's limited to 3 repairs per night, so you're going to have to be more tactical with your repairs. Personally, I found day mode a somewhat boring experience. There is no thrill in the showdown races, and it felt too safe. Need for Speed thrives on risk versus reward. Night mode is definitely the place to be. You get the thrill of the police chases, they're intense, and you gain massive rewards for the more risks you take. Need for Speed Heat is set in a fictional version of Miami, Palm City. The city is dense and plentiful of alleyways and back streets to escape the pesky cops. The map is also more open, allowing the player to dart through car parks, cut through forests, and even jump off cliffs and not be stopped by invisible walls or trigger respawns. This makes the environment feel significantly more open and free. The city also contains an oval racetrack located behind the garage that can be used for top speed tests, but I do feel like the track is honestly too small for that, and you'd rather just drive around the highway trying to hit the top speed. In the southern areas, there is a docks area with containers, which is great for drifting around and hitting big jumps. Compared to Payback, the map is not separated into different environments, and it blends all the different areas together. The story is short and can be completed within 6 hours, or if you're a speedrunner, within 2 hours or less. Yeah, the story is that short. But then again, Need for Speed isn't known for its amazing stories. The story in this game acts more as a motivator for the player to play the game. Need for Speed Heat is the amalgamation of Ghost Game's previous entries. It creates an enjoyable experience for anyone who loves cars, action racing games, car customization, and intense police chases. Heat has its downsides and upsides, but it's definitely worth a purchase.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're